Hello, I'm Malcolm Hornby. The foundational dream that led to the 8 archetypes, described in the first video in this series, did not indicate 2 archetypes that I'm going to reveal in this video. These came about while writing the psychodrama At Large in the Maze of Myth, which has been published as 2 novels. In them, the protagonist, Michael Ullman, has the attributes of all 4 archetypal males: north, south, east, and west. He has a masculine psychology, meaning he acts upon his ideas rather than his feelings. After a couple of rewrites, I realized that I had to develop his female counterpart, who acted upon her feelings and not her ideas. She turned out to be a woman named Miriam Charo. While the first novel, Mining the Psyche, explores the 8 basic male and female archetypes, the second novel, Seeking Ascension, focuses on the relationship between Michael Ullman and Lydia Charo, in other words, between an idea-oriented mind and a feeling-based one. This is the essence of masculine-feminine differences and conflicts. They must learn to work together. The male must learn to respect his feelings, and the female, her ideas. As the characters developed, I saw that they were responsible for integrating the abilities of their respective masculine and feminine types, so I call them integrative archetypes. They differ from the other archetypes in that both are highly self aware and carry to a lesser extent the characteristics of the other types: north, south, east, and west in Michael's case, blue, red, green, and yellow in Miriam's case. Because they carry these traits within themselves, they can understand the behaviors and motivations of the other types. Michael can learn to understand the men, Miriam, the women. However, they must still learn to understand and trust each other. And it's the idea-based person, Michael, that must first understand them. With that, I'll turn the video over to George the Avatar, who will describe what I call the middle archetype, exemplified by Michael Ullman. Are you there, George?
Yes, I've just crawled out of my AI-generated hole. Okay, the middle archetype. Such a person is generally male and far more self-aware than the 4 other male archetypes who are focused not on themselves, but on their work and their goals in life. The middle type lacks this narrowness of focus. When young, he is mostly quiet and reflective and conspicuously erratic in his capabilities. He has some ability in art and craftsmanship, in language and mathematics. He can communicate well when he chooses, and he can lead, although effective leadership comes later in life when he has found his footing in the world. His chief shortcoming is that he cannot stay focused for long upon any single activity. His mind switches about, for that is his nature. Middle takes longer than the other male types to reach mental maturity owing to his inconsistencies. While maturity is gained slowly, the result is a broadly capable thinking person who can play many roles in society, but is ill-suited to those of specialist or craftsman, for these roles are too confining. His nature makes him capable of thinking outside the box, and well-suited to tackling projects that demand a mix of leadership, communication, problem-solving, and hard work. You may be a middle type if you are given to introspection and thinking about or worrying about your abilities, or if you are or were exceedingly erratic in your mental capabilities, some days good with mathematics and logical thinking, other days more inclined to writing or crafts, or if your abilities on the sports field were notably up and down, and if your identification with all north, south, east, and west characteristics were at least somewhat.
That's enough for middle, George. Now, what about the white archetype, which, I should add, has nothing to do with racial identity or skin color?
Okay, let's go. The white archetype is again highly self-aware, reflective, and given to a wide range of emotions. These are so changeable that when young she may at times doubt her sanity and seek isolation. In her teenage years, she may keep a private journal to help her sort through her feelings about relationships. She may write poems or stories to achieve the same end. She will fight endless battles with self-esteem, and while friendly and often outgoing, she will plunge into periods of depression. Her feelings run deep and complex. She is likely to have a romantic side, which when young will project itself onto older men, particularly those who appear mature and knowledgeable. Young, immature males do not interest her. In adulthood, when mentally mature, she tends to adopt other people's problems as her own and seek to have them resolved. She will seek out experts for guidance, learning in time to trust her judgments about different types of people. Owing to her diverse capacities, she will function well in an auxiliary leadership position. She recognizes and encourages abilities in others and can intuit how to best use them. As a counselor, she is effective in group and individual settings, though less so with strongly masculine types who may intimidate her. Once past childbearing years, she will seek leadership roles, heading, say, charities or entering politics. You may be a white archetype if you are given to worrying about your relationships and how you have managed them, and if your identification with all blue, red, green, and yellow characteristics was at least somewhat. And if, when young, you kept a private journal to record your feelings, or wrote poetry or stories as outlets for your intense emotions.
George, can you guess what you need to talk about now?
Of course, you want me to introduce the two characters who represent middle and white in your psychodrama. I'm happy to oblige. The middle archetype is portrayed by Michael Ullman. He is, like me, an AI avatar, based on a photograph of Malcolm from his younger years, albeit with Malcolm's voice. Hello, Michael. Will you give us your impressions of the four men you met in the workshop?
The first of them I encountered was Roland, who turned out to be a Northman. I remember him as being exceptionally well dressed and groomed. When I first saw him, he was fixated on a letter from someone trying to extort money from his business. His little chair design operation didn't interest me at all, but trying to identify his extortionist did. Roland arranged for me to visit the North Domain and a huge ziggurat called World Headquarters. That's where I came to understand how ambitious and ruthless Northmen can be. Actually, for a Northman, Roland was fairly considerate of other people. After Roland, I met Greg the Eastman. He was very informative, and I got a rundown from him of the four types of men, north, south, east and west, and the skills each brought to the business. That's when I learned I was a middleman. Greg was chatty and easygoing, perhaps too chatty at times. After Greg, I spoke with Sparky the Westman. I found him difficult. He was knowledgeable but seemed angry all the time, and he had a peculiar attitude about sharing his knowledge. He insisted I should read books to learn what he knew. I wanted to learn from him. It was usually a battle to squeeze any information out of him. I got tired of the mental jousting. Lastly, I met Brick, their carpenter. He was a Southman, and I had been warned about his limited vocabulary. What shocked me was his attitude towards authority. He seemed to regard everyone who was not a fellow Southman as a privileged member of the upper class, and that included me. It was this attitude more than his limited language skills that most frustrated me. Still, I came to appreciate his craftsmanship and learned that he was far more intelligent than he looked, or should I say, sounded. Overall, I found all four of them too narrow-minded for me to relate to. I didn't want to deal with them or their nonsense. That's when I fell, literally, into the women's world.
I'll stop you there, Michael, as we need to speed this up and meet Miriam. The white woman, so to speak. Her full name is Miriam Lydia Charrow. Hello, Miriam. What did you think of the four women in the household when you first met them?
I first met the four of them when I was out walking in a park. They were so friendly, and we got along famously, as if we were all sisters. They invited me to stay with them because one of their housemates had left and they had a spare room. They showed me around their home, which was a big apartment, and I saw that their bedroom doors were painted different colours. Roberta told me the colours represented four types of women. She was a blue and basically ran the household. She's so organised, I used to feel like a mess around her. She had a cleaning routine for every day of the week, and every meal was decided in advance and served at the same time every day. She ran the house like clockwork.
How did you find Grace, Miriam?
Oh, she's a nurse and such a gentle person. She took me to her hospital in the green zone and showed me around. When I saw what she had to deal with every day, the suffering, women screaming, and the stench, I don't know how she put up with it. She's a lot stronger than she looks. Then there's Pauline. She's a yellow and Grace is a green. They don't get along well. They're such different personalities. Pauline is an artist and she's very moody. You don't know how she'll be one day to the next. She's clever and talented, but can be very sarcastic, depending on her mood.
That leaves Betsy. What did you think of her?
Betsy's the red. She's the most girly of them all. I think she's a salesgirl somewhere. She didn't seem to know much except when it came to cosmetics, then she knew everything. We usually talked about her boyfriend issues, and she had plenty of boyfriends and issues. When it came to boys, she knew exactly what she wanted.
Then you left the women's household. Why did you do that?
The better I got to know them, the more problems I realized they had. They just didn't seem to understand one another. And worse, they didn't even want to try. They all seemed to think their way of doing things was the right way. I was stuck in the middle, always trying to straighten things out between them. Then at Grace's hospital, I met Amelia Mandelbaum. She advised me to go to the men's world to try to find answers.
I must stop you there, Miriam, as we've run out of time and AI credits. So, on behalf of Malcolm, the old version that is, thanks for viewing. And please tune in to the next video where all the archetypes finally learn to function together.